Armen Levack, 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. We're joined by a Jets reporter for ESPN NFL Nation, Rich Cimini. Rich, first off, you got to be a little bored this year without all the Rex Ryan rhetoric to fly around.
Well, there's no question it's a little quieter without Rex around. I think the Jets' upper management probably prefers it that way after 6 years of Rex bombast. But, yeah, Todd Bowles is a different guy, a man of few words, and probably not going to be great for us media-wise, but the Jets are hoping, it's the right formula for them.
Well, fortunately, it's not completely calm. First things, let's start with Sheldon Richardson. How will his 4-game suspension affect the Jets as they go into the season?
Well, I mean, some of the guys were talking about that yesterday. Darrelle Revis said it's a devastating loss. That might be stretching it just a little bit, but it's big. There's no question about it. He's probably one of the 3 best players on the team, and he plays every snap. He's going to certainly hurt against the run, hurt their pass rush. But this is a great chance for Leonard Williams. They drafted him 6th overall. Young kid. He's only 21 years old at USC. He's got a lot of talent, got a lot to learn. But they do have some veteran depth on the defensive line, and they'll probably be able to push through it. So it's not a debilitating loss for them, but there's no question their defense won't be as good.
Staying with that defensive line unit, you got Muhammad Wilkerson. He says he's going to play out his contract if they don't get a deal done before camp. There's no chance of a deal getting done before camp, correct?
I do think there is a chance. If you asked me that a month or two ago, I've been pretty pessimistic on that possibility, but I do think there've been some talks. I think there have been enough deals around the league. A lot of guys from his draft class, 2011, have done deals. Defensive linemen in the first round, Cam Hayward, Cameron Jordan from New Orleans, guys in his class have gotten deals done recently. So I think that will help things a little bit. So I wouldn't totally rule it out, but, as I reported yesterday, if there's no deal by week 1, he's just going to shut it down and have no negotiating during the season.
Rich Cimini, ESPN.com, New York. If you go through there, you'll see all the stuff you need to know about the Jets. Follow him on Twitter, at Rich Cimini. It's Armen Levack, 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. Rich, now with the defensive line set up the way it is, Mo Wilkerson wants a new contract. You bring in the rookie Leonard Williams, Sheldon Richardson, Harrison. There's a lot of noise going on. What's the chance that one of those 4 guys is gone this year?
They're not going to trade Mo Wilkerson this year. They're not going to trade Sheldon Richardson. Damon Harrison is a guy who doesn't get talked about a lot, but he's a really good nose tackle. He's one of the better nose tackles in the league, and he'll be here. He's playing the last year of his contract, and from what I understand, I haven't seen him yet, but I think he dropped some weight. He's supposedly in phenomenal shape. So they'll all be here this year, and I think they'll all be here next year. I take that back. Rick Harrison is unrestricted free agent next year, and there is a chance he could move on. But the Jets could just franchise Mo Wilkerson next year. So I don't think he's going anywhere for the next couple of years, and we know Richardson's not. So I think the gang could stay together for another year or two.
Well, now, is Harrison the guy that is almost most valuable, considering the fact that they brought in Leonard Williams and you have 3 ends? Like, is Harrison the guy that, as you look at this defense moving forward, that they kind of need to get something done with?
You know what? It's a good point you make, because you could make the argument they don't have a suitable replacement at nose tackle. And when you play a 3-4 defense like the Jets are planning to do with Todd Bowles, and which they did under Rex Ryan, you need that big man in the middle, that space eater, who could tie up a couple of blockers, and really that's kind of your linchpin in your 3-4 defense. And so Harrison is a really good guy. If he hits the open market next year, he'll command a pretty big deal. The Jets would be smart to try to get something done ahead of time. However, you can't pay all these guys at one position. If you have 30% of your salary cap invested in your defensive line, it really hamstrings you in terms of the other positions. So the Jets are going to have to figure out a budget and try to do the best they can to keep these guys.
ESPN's Rich Cimini with Armen Levack, 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. Now, you bring up the percentages of your budget going into each unit. That secondary this year, there's a big percentage of the budget going into that, but such an upgrade. How much is Darrelle Revis instantly the leader of that defense just walking onto campus this year?
Yeah, you could just see that just the stature he has. No one else on the team has the stature he has. Especially winning a Super Bowl, even adds to his resume. And so, yeah, I mean, he's kind of the face of the franchise, and he's the cover boy last week in Sports Illustrated. But Darrelle is really not an outgoing leader. He's kind of a follower, a real quiet, studious guy, a student of the game kind of guy. So he's not going to be I don't know if he'll be they don't really have that guy on defense, like a really outspoken kind of guy to rally the troops. And, Demario Davis to some degree is that, he's always the guy on the field before the game, giving the fiery speech. So Darrelle, but in terms of just the magnitude and the gravitas, then it's Revis for sure.
Follow Rich Cimini at Rich Cimini on Twitter.
Rich, this is Derek Brown, former NFL tight end. The Jets have a veteran secondary. How will a young player like Calvin Pryor now fit into the mix?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big year for Calvin because it was kind of a disappointing rookie year. I know he's excited about what Bowles has planned for him. They're going to use him more on the strong side, which will give him more opportunities near the line of scrimmage, and that's kind of what he's known for. Big hitter, he can blitz. Last year the Jets really had him playing a deep center field type role, and he wasn't really comfortable there. It's not his strength. But you know what? If you want to be known as a great safety in this league, like an Earl Thomas in Seattle, you have to be able to do both. And I know Calvin has high hopes. I was talking to him in minicamp last month, and he said his goal is to make the Pro Bowl this year. And to do that, you have to be a two-way safety. You can't be a one-dimensional guy.
Armen Levack, 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio, joined by ESPN's Rich Cimini, the man who knows all there is to know about the Jets. Now, Rich, we're 6-7 minutes in, and I haven't brought up quarterbacks talking about the Jets yet, so you're not getting off that easy.
Yeah, that's shocking.
I know, right? I'm a defense guy. What can I say? But as you look at this battle going into camp, is it a battle? And if so, who do you predict will be the Week 1 quarterback?
I think it'll be Geno Smith. The battle is really Geno versus Geno right now. They're going to give him the majority of the reps with the starters. He'll stay that way for as long as he does okay. He would really have to stink it up in the first 2 preseason games for him to lose that position on the depth chart. I think that the organization. Now, these guys didn't draft him. This is a new group of people running the Jets, so they have no allegiance to Geno Smith, but they recognize that he has a higher ceiling than Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they know this is Geno's last shot. Let's face it, guys. I mean, he's had 2 up-and-down years, mostly down, and, this is his 3rd chance here. If he doesn't get it done this year, that'll be the end of Geno. So I think that this new group of people here, they want to see once and for all if he's the guy, and if they find out after a few weeks into the season if he's not getting it done, if it's the old Geno, then they'll make a change. But for Week 1, yeah, I do expect Geno to be the starter.
As a former tight end in the league, I'm curious to know, what is this team expecting from Jay Samaro's sophomore year?
He's really not a traditional tight end, not an inline blocker. I mean, he didn't do anything like that in college at Texas Tech. He was basically a big wide receiver, caught a ton of balls, set some records there at Texas Tech in that hurry up spread offense. And so last year was a transition for him. I know he led the rookie tight ends last year in catches, but he also had the most drops too. So I think they're expecting a lot from Amaro. They'll split him out. They'll move him around the formation. They'll try to create some matchup advantages. And this is a key year for him because, frankly, I didn't see a whole lot of exciting things from Amaro last year. I think he does have talents. I think a lot of his issues are mental. So he needs to come in confident and show these, like I said, these new group of decision makers that he can live up to his draft status.
Now, Rich, real quick though, as we look at this camp, what's the position battle besides quarterback that you're looking at that is going to, kind of set the tone for what you pay attention to during camp?
Yeah, this is not sexy, guys, but I mean the only other position that I think is like wide open is right guard. Most people don't give a hoot about who the right guard is, but that one is legitimately an open competition. Willie Colon is the incumbent, but yesterday they placed him on the injured list, so he's not going to be able to practice until he can pass a physical. And I don't think it'll be that long. But there's other guys there battling for that job. Odea Bushi, Brian Winters. Seems like they have a cast of thousands auditioning for that job. And if nobody emerges in a few weeks, I wouldn't be. Evan Mathis is still out there. The former Eagle is a good guard, a Pro Bowl player. He's still out there as a free agent. So it wouldn't shock me if after a couple of preseason games, if the Jets don't like what they see, maybe they pick up the phone and see if they can lure Evan Mathis in.
We know he looks good in green.
Yeah, he's done that before, and I'm sure his asking price has probably dropped the last few weeks, and no one seems to be banging down his door. So you never know. I don't think the Jets were interested a few weeks ago when he was cut, but let's see how these guys play out. If nothing is happening here in camp after a few weeks, maybe the Jets pick up the phone.
Love it. Thank you so much, Rich Cimini, ESPN New York, at Rich Cimini on Twitter, the man to follow if you are a Jets fan or if you just want to know anything about gangrene in general. Thanks so much for making the time, Rich.
Appreciate it, guys. Take it easy.